That's right. Let's go. Let's do this. I'm excited. It's going to be tier list for all 32 NFL teams for the 2019 season. Now, a couple disclaimers before we get into it. Number one, this is for the 2019 season only. So keep that in mind. This isn't for the entire team's franchise history. Number two, if you're gonna get triggered by me putting your team in a lower tier than you think they are, you might as well stop watching right now. Number three, if you disagree with where I have somebody ranked, instead of just calling me a stupid loser in the comments, how about you post the team that you think I got wrong and tell me why you think that I'm wrong. Number four, these are gonna be hot takes. I don't have any notes written down, and I'm not gonna spend too much time on each team. We don't need this video to be over 30 minutes long. You guys all know how the list works by now. S tier is super, that's the greatest. F tier being the worst. We're gonna rank all 32 NFL teams starting now. First up, the Atlanta Falcons. This is actually a really interesting one to start things off. Last year, obviously underperforming from a lot of people's expectations. Right now, I have them in about the C tier. Psych! Why you gotta be frustrating today? Come on. The reason for this, feel like they're an average team. Last year, probably the most injury-plagued defense. They lost Tevin Coleman. If Devonta Freeman gets hurt, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. I don't think Ito Smith is the greatest backup running back ever. One thing they do have going for them, though, think the division's a little bit weak. I think the Saints might drop off a little bit. Oh yeah, another thing, a lot of games in a dome. Matt Ryan might have a very good year. C tier for Falcons. Up next, and first team in my division, the AFC North, Baltimore Ravens. Very active in free agency this year. They lost a lot of key pieces on their defense, which in my opinion was the reason why they were a playoff team last year. I'm putting them in C tier. They lost C.J. Mosley, Terrell Suggs, Zadarius Smith, Eric Weddle. These are all just off the top of my head. I am not so much a believer yet of Lamar Jackson. He has to figure out how to throw the football, and until then, Ravens C tier. Here's another team from the NFC South, the Carolina Panthers. Right now, hey look, I'm putting them in the D tier. Cam Newton, huge question mark. Their defense was not as good as I thought it was going to be last year. They underperformed heavily, in my opinion. That's why I'm putting the Panthers in the D tier. Love it or hate it, that's where I'm putting them. Up next, Chicago Bears. Great defense. Tariq Cohen, Mitch Trubisky, Allen Robinson. I'm going to go ahead B tier for them. I feel like Mitch Trubisky still has a little bit to prove. I feel like it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them this year. I think the Packers are going to be a lot better of a team than they were last year. And the Vikings, they're a question mark. They're going to be hit or miss. If I'm a Bears fan, I'm definitely happy with where their franchise is going. The Khalil Mack trade last year might have been one of the greatest trades in NFL history. And David Montgomery, look out for him. I think he's going to be a great piece of their offense. He has a chance to be a really good running back. Up next, another AFC North team. Bengals suck. Bruh. Their franchise is a disgrace. They had Marvin Lewis as a head coach for, what, 15 years? Whatever it was, it doesn't matter. And he didn't win a single playoff game in that entire span. This franchise doesn't know anything about winning. I don't see this team being good anytime soon. They're going to need a quarterback because Andy Dalton ain't their answer. Never has been, and he's only getting older. Another team from the AFC North. This one's going to trigger people off a little bit. Cleveland Browns. Great off-season moves. But number one, there's a lot of pressure on them to do good this year, which they're not used to doing. Number two, they got a lot of personality on that team. If things start going south, who knows what's going to happen. Cleveland Browns fans, please don't get mad at me. They're going to be a really good team coming up. Up to the next team, Dallas Cowboys. This is going to be probably, this is a tough one. It's between C and B for me for the Cowboys. We're going to go B for them. Number one, they got the Giants and Redskins in their division. It's going to increase their odds of making the playoffs drastically. I still think the offensive line is one of the best in the league. Ezekiel Elliott is a top 3 running back at worst. Dak Prescott is coming into this year, needed to prove things to Jerry Jones, and I really like the Amari Cooper trade. I'm thinking Cowboys might slip into the playoffs. Denver Broncos, kind of just slipping into this average tier team ranking. Number one, I would like to point out, I don't like what they did in the first round of the NFL draft. They could have had Devin Bush, but instead decided to trade down and take a tight end. Joe Flacco, a slight upgrade from Case Keenum last year. Phillip Lindsay, he's going to need to stay healthy. Von Miller, getting a little bit older. The wide receivers on their team have a chance to be really good, but as of right now, they're just average. Cortland Sutton, Deshaun Hamilton, Emmanuel Sanders. It's going to be interesting to see what the Denver Broncos do, but they got some good teams in their division. C for them. Green Bay Packers. New head coach. Mike McCarthy's out. This is an A for me. I feel slightly safe with me picking them as an A. They made some huge upgrades in their defense over the offseason, whether it be free agency or the NFL draft. There's no reason why this team shouldn't have one of the better chances to be one of the best teams in the NFC. Houston Texans, another really good team. I'm gonna place them B tier. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think that they solved their problem at running back over the offseason. They're gonna be left with Devonta Foreman and Lamar Miller. Not a huge fan of them, but their defense is good. And Deshaun Watson is gonna be set up to what should be his best year. DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, and company. Just got to be able to prove that he could throw the ball a little bit better. In his playoff game, he did not look hot, but I got confidence in him. Texans, B tier. New York Giants, you know what? You are going to make great friends with the Cincinnati Bengals. You are F tier. The draft that you guys had planned out made no sense. Daniel Jones, I promise you, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you're going to be a great quarterback because I can't imagine what it's like to go under all the scrutiny that you have. But honestly, instead of the New York Giants logo, I might as well just have a picture of Saquon Barkley because he's their only player on their team that's decent. Minnesota Vikings, up next. Big question mark, Kirk Cousins. Is he going to turn out to be a good quarterback?
Nope.
Their wide receiver duo, one of the best in the league. Running back, injury problems. And their defense last year really underperformed to my expectations. That's why they're getting a D. Up next, we have the Detroit Lions. I will be placing them in the E tier. Matt Patricia, from the second that he's gotten into Detroit, I know it was his game plan. He's been trying to be Bill Belichick, and I hate to break it to you, but that's nearly impossible to do, okay? I don't know. What do you want me to tell you? Matt Stafford's a good quarterback. Love Kenny Golladay. Love Kerryon Johnson. That's a plus. But this team right here, to me, is just at best average. E for them. San Francisco 49ers. You want to talk about teams making moves? D Ford, Quan Alexander, Tevin Coleman, picked up Nick Bosa, who's going to be great. This team's on the up and up, but as of right now, I will be placing them in that C tier until they prove me otherwise. I will say, though, for me, San Francisco 49ers have one of the best chances to be a real sleeper team this year, so look out for them. Arizona Cardinals. It's about time I got to these guys. I got a lot to say, but we're going to keep it short. I think they made the right move in the NFL draft by taking Kyler Murray first. I think their draft overall was pretty solid. They picked up Byron Murphy in the second round, which I thought he could have been a first-round cornerback. And then they got Kyler Murray a lot of extra weapons as well. The Cardinals, I can't really see him being a great team in 2019, especially with what they showed us last year. We're going to keep it at that. Up next, how appropriate, the Miami Dolphins. You, my friends, will also be making it in the F tier. Okay, let me point this out because people are going to get triggered. How can I put this? This is going to be kind of tough for me to explain. Yes, I think the Dolphins made a good move by getting Josh Rosen for what they gave up. Here's my problem, though. I don't see Josh Rosen as being a franchise quarterback.
What an idiot.
God bless this guy, but if the Dolphins do bad enough and they take a quarterback in the first round next year, Josh Rosen could get shipped off again. What a start to his career that would be. He got a lot of pressure on him right now. The Dolphins made a couple good moves, but their team sucks. What else do you want me to tell you? Buffalo Bills, this is where I'm putting them at. D tier. They're on the up and up. I like Josh Allen. I like their defense. In a couple years, whenever Tom Brady's gone, look out for this team because I think with a couple more pieces, as long as their quarterback's going to be able to stay healthy with all the scrambling that he does, could be a pretty decent team. I don't really ever see him being great, but they could be a playoff team in a couple years. This year, I don't think so. Here comes a big one. Indianapolis Colts. I love the Indianapolis Colts. I love everything that their front office has been doing. They stayed kind of quiet in free agency. They're building through the draft. We all seen what they did last year. A lot of them ended up panning out. You gotta trust what they're doing. Andrew Luck's finally coming along. As long as he can stay healthy, this team has the chance to make a Super Bowl run this year. If I am a Colts fan, I am hyped. I am ready to go. I'm throwing all my chips in the table. After them, we have the Oakland Raiders. They will be in the E tier, okay? Yes, they ripped the Pittsburgh Steelers off by getting Antonio Brown. They made huge moves in the offseason. They had 3 first-round picks. They were probably an E or F tier last year. Tom, how can you have them as the same exact thing? Well, I think it's pretty simple, to be honest. Number one, I kind of questioned John Gruden with what he's been doing. He got rid of 2 of their best players the year prior, in Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack. If you're a guy on this team, how could you feel safe? If you're Derek Carr and you start off the season slow, how can you feel safe on this team? Also, how are you going to go ahead and trade for Antonio Brown and then go and sign Vontaze Burfict. Vontaze Burfict nearly killed Antonio Brown with an illegal hit. These guys hate each other. If one little thing sparks up between them, oh man, they made a lot of big moves. But I think a lot of it might have been more of a publicity stunt than trying to build a really good football team. Philadelphia Eagles coming up next. This is going to be a pretty tough one for me to rank. Not the best division. Came off of a Super Bowl win a couple years ago. They're in between A and B tier for me. I'm going to go ahead and rank them in the B tier for now. I think they're a slight step ahead of the Dallas Cowboys. The reason this team made the playoffs last year, let's be real, it was because of Nick Foles. They added Deshaun Jackson, Jordan Howard, drafted a running back. I like that. But in 2018, they had one of the worst secondaries in the league. I think they might struggle with that again. We'll find out quickly if that's going to be a problem. But until then, Eagles, B class. Jacksonville Jaguars up next. This is another tough one for me to rank. Coming into last year's season, I'm putting this team in an A tier rank, and I couldn't have been more wrong. They would have ended up in E or F from their 2018 season. Nick Foles, though, is definitely an upgrade for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm putting them in the C tier. They got a pretty tough division, remember. Texans, Colts. I think this team's shooting for a wild card spot. Still one of the best defenses in the league. But then again, they are losing Telvin Smith for this year. The Jaguars are that one team where they can end up at the top or they can end up at the way bottom, and it's really hard to predict where they're going to be. Kansas City Chiefs up next. They will be an A-tier team for me. A lot of off-season moves. Obviously lost Kareem Hunt. Probably going to be losing Tyreek Hill. They do have the best quarterback in the entire NFL in their team. Yes, I said it, Aaron Rodgers. Yes, I said it, Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes has a chance to take this team to the Super Bowl. Chiefs should be one of the best teams in the league this year. Look out for them. Same division, Chargers. I'm ranking it right up there with the Chiefs. This is another really good team. Phillip Rivers has a couple more years to get himself a Super Bowl. Pressure's on for him. Love Melvin Gordon. Joey Bosa's a beast. This is another team that has a chance to finish at the top of the AFC, and it's a real shame that them and the Chiefs are in the same division together because they're not going to make it easy on each other. As of right now, Chargers might be my one team from the AFC to make the Super Bowl, but I'm not going to lock that in yet. Now we have the Rams, Super Bowl team last year, losing to Ndamukong Suh, Jared Goff. Did he get figured out? Quite possibly. Maybe he's not as good of a quarterback as everybody thought he was going to be. Todd Gurley, injury problems. They're not going to play him as much. They're just not. It's not worth it. They're still a good team. They got the best defensive player in the entire NFL and Aaron Donald on their side. Playoffs for them, most definitely. Pushing another Super Bowl run. I think it's going to be a stretch. I don't see it happening. The Rams, they're going to take a step back this year. They're a B tier for me. Now we have the New England Patriots, and to be real, I don't want to put them at the S tier. I wouldn't have wanted to put them at the S tier last year, but this team proves me wrong every year. They always figure out a way to get stuff done, and until Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are gone, there's no way that I'm not putting this team at an S tier. The Saints. Oh my gosh, I was at the NFC Championship game last year. One of my favorite teams. Love Drew Brees. They're going to take a step back though this year. I hope Drew Brees still has it in him. He's getting older, but he got a lot of good people surrounding him. Alvin Kamara, Jared Cook, Michael Thomas. They're going to be in the mix of the playoffs the entire year. New York Jets up next. We're going to put the New York Jets in the D tier for now. Look, I love what the New York Jets have been doing, okay? They added CJ Mosley. They added Le'Veon Bell. Didn't pay him too much. You got who everybody is saying is the best player in the entire draft in Quinnen Williams. Jamal Adams is on your squad. I fully believe this is going to be one of the best defenses in the entire NFL. I'm looking forward to them getting back to the Rex Ryan, Darrelle Revis days. I will say though, and this is going against the popular opinion, that Sam Darnold's going to be a great quarterback. I don't know. He didn't really show me anything last year that he's going to be great. I think he has a chance to be a solid NFL quarterback, but I think he still needs to develop a little bit. 2019, I think it's a little bit early yet. I don't see it happening, but look out for this team. 2020, 2021, it's going to be their year. It's about time. Finally, the Pittsburgh Steelers, my team. We're going to make this quick. Rip it off like a Band-Aid. They're going A tier, okay? There's no question that over free agency, they lost the most talent, one of the best running backs in the NFL in Le'Veon Bell, and the best wide receiver in Antonio Brown. With that said, how can I have this team ranked higher from where I had them last year? I have confidence in James Conner. I have confidence in Juju Smith-Schuster. And trading up to get Devin Bush to replace Ryan Shazier finally was one of the best moves that I've ever seen the Steelers do. The thing I love most though, and it's going to be so huge for them, no distractions coming into this year. The Steelers are going back to their roots. And all the pressure is on the Cleveland Browns because they have them winning the AFC North. For once, the Steelers are not going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder. That's why they're an A tier for me. Only 4 teams left. We have the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to try to make this a little bit quicker. I have them in B tier. Now, we've seen that paying a franchise quarterback a ton of money really hasn't worked out as far as making playoff runs go. But I don't know. There's something about the Seattle Seahawks that makes me want to trust them. I can't rank them in C tier. And I'm going to make a little bit of a bold prediction. I see them finishing ahead of the Los Angeles Rams this year. I just trust Russell Wilson a whole lot more than Jared Goff. B for them. Okay, who do we got next? Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is in between E and F. I'm going to give them an E. I don't understand why they didn't pick up a running back either in free agency. Tevin Coleman would have been great. Even Spencer Ware would have been a good pickup for them. I don't like Jameis Winston at all either. I don't know. I'm sorry, Tampa Bay fans. I just don't see him being good. I will say this, though. One thing to get excited about is your first round pick. In my opinion, the best player coming out of the entire draft. Up next, we have the Tennessee Titans. I am putting them in E tier. People are probably going to disagree with this a little bit. Look, let me just be simple though. I think they're the worst team in a very stacked division. It's going to be really tough for them to make the playoffs. And yeah, they could run the football a little bit. But in this league now, you're going to have to throw the ball. I don't trust Marcus Mariota as much anymore. And I just don't see how this team has a chance to make the playoffs. The last team, Washington Redskins. They will be going in they're going in the F tier for me. Now look at me. Ideally, what this team does is sit Dwayne Haskins for a year under Case Keenum. But let's be real, that's not going to happen. Their head coach, Jay Gruden, he's on the hot seat this year. If he doesn't do good, he's probably out. So Dwayne Haskins is probably going to start early, if not week 1. Out of all the F tier teams, though, I say they're probably the best, but that's not saying much. Looking back at it, it's kind of crazy. Very AFC stacked towards the top of the list. And then all these B tier teams, which let me say are good teams, seems like it favors the NFC. The last thing I want you guys to do, I'm going to put a link top of the description. Go ahead and click on it. Fill out your own list and send it to me. The best way to do it is probably tagging me in an Instagram post. I will make sure to reply to every single person that does that over there on IG. I'm thinking of doing a couple more of these, so if you enjoyed this, drop a like for me. Let me know that you guys are in for another one of these. It would definitely mean a lot. Subscribe if you're brand new to the channel and like stuff like this. More NFL football stuff is going to be coming soon that I know you guys are going to like. With that said, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for watching. You already Well, that was only slightly awkward. Anyways, where was I at? Yeah, you already know. You're the best. God bless. We'll see you on the next one. Peace. Okay.